Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Monday, August the 12th, and we have some data coming out this week. If we look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics website under its release calendar, what we're set up to get this week is on Tuesday, tomorrow, the PPI data, the Producer Price Index, followed on Wednesday by CPI data, the Consumer Price Index. And then we'll also hear about U.S. import and export price indexes on Thursday, and then state unemployment and employment data on Friday. So we're getting some interesting data this week that is going to help the Fed make a decision around interest rates. And what we're seeing in the markets this morning is we are seeing green on the screen. So we have green across the major U.S. indices here, up between a quarter and call it half a point. And as we head into the trading session today, I think it's going to be interesting to watch what goes on in the retail space. It looks as though Walmart is off to a good start heading into its earnings tomorrow. Home Depot as well is up slightly, although Home Depot has recently been downgraded with a price target of $318. And this goes to the short that I released yesterday around picking either Walmart or Home Depot. And my belief is that Walmart is the better pick of those two big box retailers based on where consumer discretionary spending is taking place. People are looking for value and they're finding it in prices and supply and quantities or supplies available for primarily food, but also for clothing and other back to school items as we're heading into the August, September back to school period. And they're looking for value from retailers like Walmart. If we head down to tech, looks like we're going to have a good day. Looks like CrowdStrike is beginning to recover after that massive global outage in the last couple of weeks. We can see that most of tech is on the rise. Palo Alto had a great day on Friday. It's back up to the 330s. This is a stock that if we look at this over a 6 months curve, is very likely to get back up into the 380s by the end of the year. And they have earnings coming out next week, a week today. So that'll be an interesting one to watch and see whether that carries that stock higher. I think we're going to have some good earnings from Palo Alto as we come to those quarterly results in 7 days. Scrolling down further, we saw Airbnb got beat up recently. It's making a bit of a comeback, but relatively slow. Microsoft is attractively priced here in the low 400s. Looks like ARM and some of the semis are making a positive move forward today. ARM up $1.20. It was, I think, a little higher than that just minutes ago, but it is fluctuating in around that 118 mark. For an open, we've got AMD rising. And if we scroll down, Lam Research, this is a stock that if it drops below that 807, really below 800, I think is an extremely attractive purchase. It could even be attractive really at the level it's at right now. This is an $1,100 or $1,200 stock that's been deeply discounted with the NASDAQ drop that took place last Monday. We've got Tesla, one that I would stay away from currently. Meta is off. Meta was had a great run last week from Monday through Friday. I mean, Monday, obviously, it was down like everything else, but it really climbed back. And I expect this to be a $540, $550 stock by the end of August, if not into September. The earlier prediction was end of September, but I think it's going to happen before that time. I'm not suggesting it's going to stay up there. It could pull back from that, but I do think it's going to climb up and surpass its last high, which was in the 540s. And then we have BABA making earnings result announcement this week. So we're coming out in 3 days with BABA. I think this is going to get north of $85 this week. I think we will see some good earnings out of Alibaba. And then we've got some share buybacks that they've been doing, so that's going to help the earnings. The key is whether the Chinese consumer is starting to spend again and whether they're spending through Alibaba or not. So that'll be interesting to watch to kind of get a gauge on the Chinese economy. And then Nvidia making some moves today, again, at a relatively attractive price in the low 100s, with earnings coming out in a few weeks. So if we scroll down and take a look at their earnings, it's the end of the month, so a couple weeks out there. Google is well off its highs recently. I think this is an attractive entry point here. There is some concern over OpenAI's search engine and how it could compromise and take away some market share from the search in the search marketplace from Google, and that in turn would affect its ad revenue and other revenues. But I think Google is still the go-to for the majority of internet users out there for search. So I think that you've got a good, solid company to get behind, and Google is obviously making its own investments in AI. So in order to compete against the different AI search engines that will pop up and have popped up, Google's doing everything in its power to ensure that it maintains its dominant position in that search market. We've got Adobe releasing results as well in mid-September, so we're a month out for that. I think we're going to see that stock climb as it goes towards earnings, and I think the earnings there are going to be quite positive. Coming out of a not so great year in 2024 for Adobe, but I think it's going to turn around and should start to take off as we move towards the end of the year and into next year. And then financials. Financials appear to be strong this morning. We can see Goldman up $3 pre-market and Morgan Stanley up 30 cents, JP Morgan up 52 cents, and then one of our other faves, SoFi Technologies, it is up 4 cents pre-market. I can see this getting back into the mid to high $7 by the end of August as we move towards an interest rate cut in September. I think all of the finance sector is going to start to climb towards that pending announcement, and the hope that the first of a few cuts this year by the US Federal Reserve will happen in September. And I think as we head into the end of the month, when we have the Fed chairman speaking out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, at the annual conference out there, I think we'll get some better insight into the direction that the Fed is going to move in. And that's where we are today. So good luck with your trade.